If you want to learn how to build a fantastic planter like this, watch to the end, comment, like and subscribe. Thank you.
To make a great planter like this, you need a hammer to get the nails out, a saw and a pallet breaker to break up the pallets. There's a special technique. You have to get it in between each plank and then edge it out little by little so you don't break the planks. It's knackering work. So I needed a drink. Next, you've got to get the nails out, hammer it out and then pull it out with the other end of the hammer. Do this really carefully. Don't bang your fingers. Next, you've got to paint it with a weatherproof paint. This stops the planter from rotting when it gets wet. It's really important you do this and let it dry for 24 hours. Make sure you wash the paint off the patio and your hands so it doesn't stain. Next thing I did was I measured out the planks. I used a fantastic Apple measuring tool, so I don't even need a measuring tape. I measured 50 centimetres by 50 centimetres square and I laid all the planks out so I could get a really good idea of how it looked. The other great thing about this measuring tool is it gives you a 3D view of your planter before you've even built it. You can see around the dimensions and you can even put some plants in it to see how they're going to fit and what size it will be. Sawing is knackering work. I've got to find a better technique than this. I was absolutely knackered and I don't even need to go to the gym now, fortunately. Well, one way you can do it is you've got to angle the saw up a little bit. So you cut flat, so you get a little groove, and then you angle it up and it goes through like butter. This is really good and it saved me a lot of work. Next thing I did was I laid all the planks out and I screwed them together with a drill with wood screws. The way you do this is you lay the plank flat and you put the wood screw in and then you put it up against the other end of the wood screw and you screw it in. Make sure you put lots of pressure. You do this on every corner for each frame until you've got 4 frames and then you put them on top of each other to see if they fit. They didn't really fit very well. Next thing you've got to make sure is all the frames are attached together with wood screws. You've got to cut little bits of wood that are the height of the planter and then nail them in with wood screws. And making a base is also really important. You've got to make that base probably out of some leftover bits of wood that you've cut off other planters and make it so that there's small gaps in between the bottom so there's drainage. Next thing you have to do is line that planter. I find plastic bags are the cheapest, easiest way. I nailed them in with leftover nails so it didn't move around when you put soil in it. Also, I made sure that I put holes in the bottom of the plastic bag so the water would seep through and so you wouldn't get problems with drainage and root rot.